G'day everyone, welcome to this edition of DURKO's Notebook for the 2023 Bahrain Grand Prix. It's the first opening race of the season. Got a shitload I want to talk about, so pull up a pew, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. You wouldn't fucking read about it. The Bahrain International Circuit, it's unique in that it doesn't have an asphalt surface, it's actually made of all stone. And since they built the circuit, it's never actually been resurfaced. It's still the original texture that they've raced on for years and years. Hence, it's pretty harsh on tyres, the old circuit. And some of the hard compounds we saw racing at Bahrain this year were certainly getting flogged. And there was a number of tyre changes, of course, as a result, even with the hard compound. Plenty of action during the race. It was a bit of a mixed grid for quali, and testing was a bit of a mixed bag, of course. I just want to talk about the race action, of course. Stroll, at the start, went straight into the back of his new teammate, gave him a love tap and said, "Hello, yes, welcome to the team." Now, it might have been a strategic move by Alonso's engineer not to tell him who had actually given him that love tap, and it may have been discussed later in the back of the garage as to clear up who it actually was that touched him. But Alonso had other things on his mind, as that was certainly delivering for the team in that AMR 23. Merck, they've had a shit start to the season. You've got to admit that. I think Tato's going to go back to the drawing board at Brackley and say, right, let's start again, because this car is just not working for us. Now, sadly, for the big talk was Oscar Piastri, his debut race for McLaren, and he went out with electronic issues. So it's going to be potentially a season of pain for him, or he's going to be questioning why have I done this and not stayed at Alpine. Of course, the one bloke who is laughing is Daniel Ricciardo, because he's looking back to his old seat thinking, yep, it's a bucket of shit car. I'm glad I missed out on that. Now, the thing I did pick up on was there was no more porpoising of the cars as we saw in testing the previous week. The porpoising has been completely wiped out from what I could work out. If it is there, it's only minimal compared to what we saw last season. So the change in the ride height increasing in the cars has obviously worked for them. And Ando was pretty adamant. You know, he made the comment over the radio, look, this is a lovely car to drive. So after 15 odd years of being a member of teams where he'd get a contract and say, is this car a piece of shit, can it not deliver, is it undrivable? He's certainly found a car that he can drive. So it's a different sort of contract he's clearly signed, because he's been through some pus bucket cars in the past that just he couldn't deliver. And of course, he was pretty adamant on the radio in his days at McLaren and so forth that the car wasn't working for him. And then the fit back at Renault Alpine, as it was now, just didn't work out for him. So he might have found a happy place at Aston Martin under the guidance of Lawrence Stroll as the team owner. Now, Ocon, he went out. He's really tried to go out hard early in this season to try and scoop up every single penalty that he can come across in the rulebook. So he was just trying to talk up all the time he could on the penalty clock to say, righto, can we really delay this end of this race, because I want to really get some bad time against my name. Norris, he spent most of the time in his McLaren trying to get it to work with a pneumatic issue, of course. And he just used it as a race to practice pit stops with his team. And I think he got up to about 5 pit stops there at one stage, which is virtually unheard of in an F1 race. They might do it at testing, of course, but not during a opening season race. So I think Zach Brown has got to start looking at the hard figures of what's going wrong with that MCL 60. It was a great result for Gasly. I mean, he had qualified last and he got that car up to 9th, so it was a great result for him. A good result for Williams too. They brought both cars home, and obviously Alex delivered a point for the team. Now, I'm obviously very critical of times, always, of Lance Stroll in general as being a shit driver. I don't like the bloke. I don't like his attitude at times. But I've got to give credit to him for his physical fitness and endurance to be able to plant himself back in that seat of the AMR 23. Because about 12 days ago, he admitted in an interview that he was bedridden. He couldn't even walk, let alone pick anything up with his hands. So there was no chance of him sitting at home in his bedroom playing with a Scalextric car set, let alone getting an F1 car. But he's come back for the race and delivered for his dad's team. So credit due where credit is due, at least for Lance Stroll to be able to bring himself back. So overall, it wasn't the most exciting race, except for, of course, Nando delivered for Aston Martin and really put on a good show to show what he can do as a driver. And a lot of people refer to him as the GOAT. I certainly don't put him in that category, but I acknowledge the drive he delivered there in Bahrain, and that was an outstanding feat, especially when he was battling with Hamilton in the less than ordinary Mercedes W14 that he was peddling around. So, yeah, probably not the most exciting race I've ever watched, but it was great just to see, as I said, Nando delivering some quality racing for us. So that's it for this edition of DURKO's Notebook. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the Saudi Arabian Notebook. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.